What is up, YouTube adventure family? Today, we're going to talk about one of the most sensitive subjects in the industry right now, as far as e-bikes go. And that is the laws and regulations and the things that are happening at a pretty rapid rate, probably a little bit faster than we all expected. So what we're seeing right now is we've seen an accident down in, I think it's Biscayne Key, Florida. It was where an elderly or older lady was riding a regular pedal mechanical bicycle, not wearing a helmet, and there was a 12 or 14-year-old kid that was wearing a helmet but was riding an e-bike, and they collided. Unfortunately, the lady passed away, and I guess the town got together very quickly and did a total ban on e-bikes or electrical vehicles in general. So that kind of, did trigger a little bit of a push in some of the areas, I guess, where they were already leaning that way or kind of teetering with the laws. And I guess a lot of cities and towns just don't want to be the next example of this happening. So kind of a crackdown has happened. I believe Oregon has done some things, San Francisco for sure. And then you're going to get like New York and LA, and you're just going to get the trickle of the bigger cities and towns to follow. So what I am not only suggesting in a way, but just kind of seeing what's happening with this is being in the drone industry for so many years and just kind of seeing how that happened, where you could go buy a cheap drone at Walmart, or you could order one on Amazon and you just take it out, buzz it around the neighborhood, fly it around. So, and that got to the point to where regulations and certifications and things like that happen too. And I kind of see the same thing happening with the e-bikes, because like with the drones, people were flying them, over crowds of people. They were flying them over properties, homes, houses, stuff like that, over traffic. And it just got to the point where they had to do regulations on it. And what they've done in the drone industry is, even if you want to fly a drone recreationally, like if you just want to buy a drone on Amazon and you want to fly it around, you are required now by law, federal law, to actually go on the FAA website and get a trust certificate, which is basically you go over the rules, the basic laws, and you show that you have at least have read them and somewhat understand them. It's like a 40-something, 50, question type test. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've taken it, and it's good for like so many years. And then I guess in case they update something, you get to take another. But they don't charge for it. It's on the FAA website. They don't charge for it. And what they do is they give you kind of like, we understand that you read and you passed. And this is like the ones I carry in my backpack, a bigger ones, in case anybody ever asked back in the day when I just had my my recreational trust license before I got my FAA 107 commercial pilot license. And then you have a registration. I'm just covering up the registration numbers that you got on your drone too. So I kind of see like the e-bike thing kind of going that way. I kind of see them going like where you'll have to pass like an online like little exam, just saying that you kind of understand the overview of the rules and the laws that they're going to have for e-bikes. Like how fast you could go on the bike path, where you could ride on the bike path or to the side of the road possibly, how many watts you could go. It's just going to have the basic kind of laws and, the wattage of the bike, the miles per hour that you could go. If you have to pedal and you can't throttle, there's going to be like some kind of like things like that on the test that you're going to have to know, whatever laws that your town or city or state have. And, I kind of see that, us being in a small mountain town up here, we're probably not going to have those laws really enforced a lot, because we don't have a big crowd or big problem issue. And it seems to me a lot of people are into e-bikes up here anyway, and they kind of encourage it. We even do rental e-bikes around the mountain town up here in different spots. And there's a lot of e-scooters and e-bikes. I think it's just more like if no one's like really breaking the law or being obnoxious, popping wheelies, that kind of thing, you're not going to have much of a problem with your e-bikes, as long as you're not speeding and causing a problem or a scene and getting the cops called on you or whatever. So I don't see it being a problem like in the smaller towns, like Mountain Town up here between Vail and Beaver Creek in Colorado. But as you get like closer to Denver, perhaps, you're going to have more like strict laws, and they're probably going to be enforced a little bit more just because of the congestion of people and things like that. And that's kind of like where these laws are going to be enforced, I think, mostly anyways. I don't think like in a small town like this they're going to be enforced unless someone's causing a problem or there's an accident. You know, that might be taken care of, but I don't think it's going to change or make the laws any strict here. It's just going to be the basic common knowledge thing up here. But like I said, in the cities, you know, they're probably going to have more of like a task force type situation where the police force or whatever is going to be more educated on speed of these vehicles, whether you're pedaling, whether you're throttling, whatever, so on and so forth. Now, saying that, going into the industry, and that's kind of what I'm in, you know, I'm definitely into e-bikes. I've got a new e-bike coming here soon. I can't wait to show you. It's a big surprise. I'm not going to say anything. Some of you do know. Some of you that are close to me know the situation. I'm very blessed and very honored to be in the situation I am with the e-bike company that I work with. But saying that, just going into the e-bike in the industry, what I see happening here, which I think is going to benefit actually the manufacturers of e-bikes. And a lot of people being like, oh, this is going to hurt the e-bike manufacturers. I disagree. This is why. If someone was like to say to pick one e-bike, an e-bike that kind of would do everything for them, they would pick probably like a class 3 e-bike, maybe a class 2 for some people, but a class 3 e-bike for a lot of people, because it would just cover a lot of things. You could, you know, go a lot of places with it, but it would have torque, it would have high speed, you could double up on it. You know, so if you're to get one e-bike, that would probably be the route a lot of people would go. Now, saying that, where there's laws and these regulations and things like that, I think what you're going to see is you're going to see people with more than one e-bike. I think that you're going to see me personally, like me, you're going to see me probably get like a class 3 e-bike and then also have like a class 2 e-bike, or go with like a stand-up scooter or something like that is my second alternative. So I see me getting a class 3 e-bike, you know, that does that 30, 35 miles an hour, maybe dual suspension. I could take it off road, better tires, bigger motor, that kind of thing. That's like a class 3, like a 1,000-watt motor or whatever. And taking that, you know, different places like camping, fishing, more on just like the side roads, that kind of thing. And then you would see me like with a class 2 or a stand-up scooter, more like on the bike path, running to the store, going to grab something to eat, running up to Vail, you know, to hang out with some friends or to go to the farmer's market or watch the GoPro games or something. You would see me more of like a class 2 maybe in that situation. So you would see me personally having more than one e-bike or one personal electric vehicle, where normally I'd probably just get one. So I think for the industry itself, I think it's going to benefit the industry. I think it's also going to benefit people to not just be locked down into one personal electric vehicle, because as I've gotten into this, just doing my YouTube channel and doing reviews and just my daily use, I could see myself using 2 different vehicles for 2 different reasons at least. So I, you know, like I was saying, I just see myself with 2 different personal electric vehicles than I would one if there's going to be regulations, because I would still like to have that, you know, go anywhere, top speed, high torque, bigger motor, riding 2 up, going to like maybe one of the concerts in the valley here. We have multiple places here in the spring and summer, and bike paths for days. The bike path literally reaches from like Breckenridge area all the way past Glenwood, or all the way to Glenwood Springs. And that's a long way. I mean, it's a couple hours, you know, for sure driving. So, I mean, it's like, you know, as far as e-bike goes, that's a long, long stretch. So having that access for the most part, except maybe Vail Pass where you can't really take electric bikes yet, or not a powerful one yet anyways. I don't even think you could take one legally over there yet. I don't think that would be enforced, but I don't think that they can't do it commercially. Like, I don't think like a company could drop off a bunch of e-bikes and they could ride down, but maybe an individual could do it and maybe get a slap on the wrist or something. And it probably couldn't be a class 3, it'd probably have to be like a class 1 or 2 bike for sure. But anyways, I just see the industry getting stronger for sure. I think the popularity is going through the roof. Do I see regulations and laws being set in? Yeah, just like with anything ever. It's just to the point now that when you're in bigger cities and you see like these big rides going on, and you're going to have like a couple people complain about it, and that's all it takes. And eventually it just gets to the point to where, they want to regulate it, and they just want people to be held accountable and responsible for anything that may or may not happen, and just kind of nip it in the bud. So I do understand like the regulations and things coming in one side, and another side too. I really don't, because I don't see them able to like really regulate the size of engine you put in your car or your motorcycle. And I don't see why that would matter on an e-bike as well, as long as you're going like the proper speed or the proper, speed limit, wherever that may be, whether it be on the bike path, whether it be on the side of the road. As long as you're going, the proper speed, I don't see why, because to me, sometimes having more torque, more, they call it Newton meters of torque in e-bikes, and that's how it's measured. So to me, you don't need a lot, obviously, to pop a wheelie, but having enough Newton meters of torque in your personal electrical vehicle, to me, is a safety issue. And I believe that if you have enough, you're able to get out of situations where if that vehicle is underpowered, especially in the low end in the torque areas, that you wouldn't be able to get out of that situation. And I know that's very important, being a motorcycle rider and riding race bikes, street bikes for years, and having that extra torque and that extra power is super important. And I think that that's the same with personal electrical vehicles. So yeah, I see this being going online, not necessarily having to register a vehicle yet. That may be some places, and that may eventually happen. Getting insurance, that may eventually happen. But right now, I definitely see that like an age limit, certain class limits, rules and regulations on type of e-bikes and where you could ride them happening. And I do see like some kind of certification for people that are going to be riding e-bikes that are probably like above a class 1. That way it would keep like the scooter rental and the e-bike rental companies still in business, because it'd allow them to still rent their class 1 or whatever e-bikes and scooters. But then when you get into the class 2 or 3, you might have to be like over 16, go online, get a certificate, like the trust certificate here. And they make them like in like little license sizes. This one was just, bigger because I put that in my backpack in case like a ranger or something or a police officer wants to know if I've got my certification. And I think that'd be a very similar thing with these e-bikes. But anyways, if you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, these are just some of the things that I want to talk about. I am going to do a live stream about this probably next week, like midweek. So look out for that. I will post when I'm going to do that. And we will chat live, and hopefully I get some of you to chime in. But yes, please leave a comment below. Any ideas that you all have with this would be, greatly appreciated, because this is kind of where I see it going anyways. But I really suggest that if they're going to go that way, that just a simple, like you go online with like DMV, you get your e-bike certificate, you pass your multiple question quiz, you get a little printout showing that you understand the basic rules and laws of e-bikes. But yeah, interesting times that we're going through. But I think it's great for anybody that's interested in buying e-bikes. They're only going to get better. The quality is going to get better. And sort of like in this industry, being in like the music industry and manufacturing and distributing and all these different things, when I was in the music industry in Tennessee, it's just I see what's happening here with the manufacturers as well. You're seeing the cream rise to the top with the manufacturers. So what I mean by that is you're seeing better manufacturers stand their ground and still make these e-bikes, and the quality is getting better. They're having version 1s and version 2s and version 3s of these e-bikes and e-scooters, all these personal electrical vehicles coming out, and they're only getting better and better and better. And that means so much. So you're getting better brakes, you're getting better motors, you're getting better controllers, you're getting better throttle response, you're getting better tires, you're getting better wheels, better the whole 9 yards. You're just getting, everything is getting better in the industry, and the prices are holding steady or even dropping. This is like with TVs. You know, when the flat screen TVs first started coming out, they were super expensive, and now you can go to Walmart and buy one for less than $200. You know, so as we see technology and research and development and those things happen in this industry, we are going to see rules and regulations, of course, come as well and kind of tame down their crowd. You're not going to see these big mobs of 50 and 60 bikes probably popping wheelies as much anymore. You're probably not going to see, and that kind of stinks in a way, because I kind of dig that. I think that's kind of cool, and I do understand why people don't like that. But to me, man, that's kind of a release. I'm an old school skater, you know, and I'm a snowboarder too, and you've got to understand, in riding crotch rockets all my life and motorcycles and dirt bikes, there's a lot of rebel in me too when it comes to stuff like that. And I enjoy it, and I like seeing people having a good time when they're not hurting anybody or not harming anybody. And I know that freaks people out when they see people popping wheelies and stuff, but that's on them. You know, always remember it, that's on them. I never rag on someone that doesn't wear a helmet or does wear a helmet. I choose to wear a helmet when I do certain things, whether it be like snowboarding or skateboarding or riding motorcycles. You know, so to each their own, and you know, I'm more of a free bird when it comes to those things, and rules and regulations just suck, but they are something that we have to deal with, and it is reality, and we have to face it, and we have to go forward. So saying that, I do think the industry is going to do really well, and you know, if you're going to be like me, you're just going to end up with more e-bikes than you thought you would, or personal vehicles than you thought you would to begin with. But anyways, leave a comment below, subscribe, hit like, most of all, tell your mom. Peace.